Hello and welcome to the Daily Forex Report for February 19th. The U.S.-Japanese yen pair has moved to the upside, as you can see. Gapped up, did not fill the gap yet, but has move to the upside. We are getting close to the 88.00 level, so it'll be interesting to see if we hit some resistance there or not. We are looking for it to potentially hit some. If it pulls back, look for some support around 78.95. And let's take a look at the Euro USD pair. This pair overall is moving sideways. If it pulls back from here, if you notice, we will have a head and shoulders formation and then look for the break of the neck. But of course, it is moving sideways currently, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Look for it to potentially go as high as 133.06, possibly as low as 130.36. Look for some resistance around 132.30. And look for some support around 130.75. Now the pound US dollar pair, this pair moved to the upside, closed higher. Look for it to potentially go as high as 159.48, possibly as low as 157.22. Look for some resistance around 158.95, and look for some support around 157.95. Now the US Swiss, this pair closed down during this last session, moving sideways overall. Look for it to potentially go as high as 0.9261, possibly as low as 0.9104. Look for some resistance around 0.9200, and look for some support around 0.9125. Now, as far as news announcements go, we have a couple of news announcements for tomorrow. We have the U.S. New York MEX trading floor closed for President's Day. Then later on in the day, at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we have the Reserve Bank of Australia releasing their board minutes for February. So that shouldn't affect the market as the news has already been released. However, it's definitely worth noting. Then New Zealand is releasing a little bit later in the day, around 9 p.m. Eastern. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand is releasing their 2-year inflation expectations. They're showing previous was 2.8%, so it'll be interesting to see where their inflation number predictions come out during this next session. Hopefully it will be low. Okay, as far as trades, if we take a look at, let's just take a look at some stuff. Pull back in the euro, in the U.S. Japanese yen pair, rather, you can see that we have gone past previous areas of resistance, which were right here. You can see it's pretty much what we gapped into, which is quite interesting to me. Remember, we have an 89.1% chance of it filling the gap. Let me put a horizontal line there. And you can see we hit that on Friday, gapped up today, and then have pulled back to that. It's very interesting. We'll have to see if it pulls back from there. This is the weekly chart. You can see that we've pretty much been moving sideways except for a few spikes up overall. So we're getting real close to getting into an area of previous support, which would now be resistance right in this area. So look for it to come on up to that point. It's the 80.00 level. If we get past that, if we close above that, I do believe that we will come on up probably around to the 82.75 mark. So one way to play that would be, especially if we do not fill this gap, would be to go ahead and place your stop loss below Friday's close just by a little bit, and then look to buy off of this high right here. Once we get above the 80.05 level, looking to go long at that point. We're about 20 pips away from that, placing the stop loss around 79.45, so about a 50 to 60 pip stop loss. Then looking for it to come on up to the 8200 mark, grabbing roughly 200 pips. So I do believe if we get a move to the upside, continued move to the upside, that it will do that long term. If we back out even more, kind of get an idea of what we're looking at from a trend line perspective, really long term, you can see that we have somewhat of a trend line right in here, and it broke above it, and that's when it shot up. So it'll be interesting to see if this is the 5-year bottom and that is reversing to the upside. If you look, if you're not familiar with that, roughly about every 5 years the US-Japanese yen pair has a bottom. We've just gone through it and actually gone a little bit lower than last time, as you can see right there. But what happened last time when it started to reverse, you can see the uptrend was very steep and very quick to the upside, and it went several hundreds of pips on the weekly time frame to the upside quick. So keep an eye on this. If we get a break to the upside, it could go very, very quick, moving up several hundreds of pips to the upside, ultimately getting up to this area, which is previous areas of support. But we're a good ways from it. We're just breaking above it, just getting to an area. And if you get a move up and you just start trailing your stop loss up at the different areas of support until you get stopped out, that is one way to do it, moving from the day to the week to the monthly time frame to grab several hundreds and then thousands of pips. I hope that helps, and until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.